Bismillah, alhamdulillah, wassalatu wassalamu ala rasulillah. My beloved brothers and sisters, have you ever found yourself typing a long, angry message, then deleting it, then typing it again? Someone misunderstood you, someone spoke about you, someone twisted your words, and your heart is burning to answer, to explain, to defend yourself. Maybe it's a family WhatsApp group where someone keeps poking you. Maybe it's a friend who betrayed you. Maybe it's a comment on social media attacking your deen, your character, your choices. You lie awake at night replaying the conversation in your head. I should have said this. I should have replied like that. Next time I will show them. You feel exhausted, not just from your problems, but from the pressure to answer everyone. In a world where everybody has an opinion, everybody is talking, everybody is arguing, silence can feel like weakness. If you don't respond, they'll think you are guilty. If you don't fight back, they'll think you are scared. So you keep explaining, defending, arguing, and with every word, your heart feels heavier. But today, I want you to consider something different. What if there is a hidden power in not answering? What if there is a dignity, a reward, and a special closeness to Allah in staying silent, not out of fear of people, but out of trust in your Rabb? In this reminder, by Allah's permission, we will talk about what it really means to focus on Allah and stay silent. We will see how Islam teaches us when to speak, when to be quiet, and how sometimes your silence allows Allah Himself to defend you better than any argument ever could. Most people throw their words into every battle and lose their peace. A few choose silence for Allah's sake and watch Him fight their battles for them. The question is, which one will you be? My beloved brothers and sisters, let's be honest about how exhausting this really is. You try to live sincerely, you try to do the right thing, but people still misunderstand you. You send a short message and someone reads it with the wrong tone. You try to advise kindly and they say you are judging. You make one mistake and suddenly that is all they see. So what do? You start explaining. You send voice notes, long paragraphs, screenshots, proofs. You repeat your side of the story to one person, then another, hoping at least someone will fully understand you. But instead of peace, you feel more drained. In family groups, one small comment turns into a storm. Relatives take sides. Someone forward your words out of context. You feel forced to answer because silence feels like you are accepting lies about yourself. Online, it's even worse. You post something with a good intention and strangers attack you. They question your intention, your iman, your modesty, your knowledge. You reply to one comment, 10 more appear. You log out angry, your heart racing, your iman feeling lower than before. And when the day is over and you finally lie down at night, your body may be tired, but your mind refuses to sleep. You rehearse the conversations in your head. I should have replied like this. Next time I'll say that. How dare they speak about me like that? My dear brothers and sisters, this constant need to explain and defend yourself is a heavy burden. It steals your sleep. It distracts you in salah. It fills your heart with anger and sadness. And the saddest part, many times after all this effort, people still don't understand you or don't even want to. At some point, you have to ask yourself a different question. Is this really what Allah wants from me? Does He want me to chase every rumor, reply to every provocation, fight every battle? Or is there another way? A quieter, wiser, more peaceful path where instead of focusing on them, you focus on Him. To find that answer, we have to turn away from notifications for a moment and turn towards the Qur'an and the teachings of our beloved prophets. What does Allah actually tell us about our tongue, our patience, and our silence? My beloved brothers and sisters, when we feel attacked, our first instinct is usually to answer. But before we follow that instinct, we must ask, what does Allah want from my tongue right now? What does the Qur'an and the Sunnah actually teach us in these moments? The Prophet gave us a simple, powerful principle. He said, whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him say what is good or remain silent. Bukhari, Muslim. Two options only. Say something good or say nothing. There is no third option of say something harsh, but they deserved it. There is no they say something just to win the argument. The believer weighs every word against the pleasure of Allah. Allah tells us in the Qur'an, and be patient, and your patience is not but through Allah. Surah An-Nahl 16:127. And He says, indeed, Allah is with the patient. Surah Al-Baqarah 2:153. Patience here is not only about waiting through sickness or poverty, it is also about controlling your tongue when it wants to explode. It is about holding back the reply you know will hurt, the sarcasm you know will sting, the message you know will make things worse, and saying instead, Ya Allah, I leave this for you. Look at how Allah describes the true servants of the Most Merciful in Surah Al-Furqan. And when they pass by ill speech, they pass by with dignity. 25:72. They don't jump into every dirty conversation. They don't stop at every insult on the road. They pass by with dignity, not with cowardice, but with self-respect, knowing that lowering themselves to the same level does not please Allah. So focusing on Allah means this. Before reacting, you ask, is what I'm about to say good in His sight? Before typing, you remember, these words will be written in my book. Before arguing, you remind yourself, Allah knows the truth even if they don't. Silence in these moments is not emptiness. It is ibadah. It is you choosing Allah's pleasure over your ego's satisfaction. When you stay silent for His sake, you are not ignoring the situation. You are handing it over to the one who sees every injustice, hears every insult, and never forgets the patience of His servants. My beloved brothers and sisters, we keep saying focus on Allah, but what does that actually look like in real life? Focusing on Allah does not mean you stop caring about people's rights. It does not mean you let everyone walk over you and say nothing ever. It means that in every situation, your first question is not how do I look in front of them, but how do I look in front of Allah? Most of us have been trained the opposite way. Someone insults you, I must prove I'm not weak. Someone spreads rumors, I must clear my image. Someone disagrees, I must win this argument. But a heart that focuses on Allah changes the script. Someone insults you. What response would please Allah right now? Someone spreads rumors. What is the halal, dignified way to deal with this without falling into sin? Someone disagrees. Is this worth fighting over, or is silence closer to Allah's pleasure? Sometimes focusing on Allah means speaking kindly, calmly, firmly when truth and justice require it. Other times it means staying silent, even when every part of your ego is screaming to answer. Imagine two people. Person A hears an insult and immediately fires back with something worse. For a moment they feel powerful, but their tongue has just written new sins on their record. Person B hears the same insult, feels the same pain, but takes a deep breath and thinks, Allahu yara, Allah is watching. If I reply for my ego, I lose. If I stay silent for Him, I win. They walk away, maybe with tears in their eyes, but with their honor recorded by Allah, not by the people. Focusing on people will always leave you tired because people are never fully satisfied. Focusing on Allah brings an inner peace because He is always appreciative, all-knowing and just. You were not created to impress every tongue on this earth. You were created to please the one who owns your heart and your hereafter. When you remember that, silence in the right moment stops feeling like defeat and starts feeling like worship. My beloved brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful secrets in our deen is this. When you stay silent for Allah, He becomes your defender. You and I often think, if I don't defend myself, who will? Allah answers that fear in the Qur'an, and Allah is sufficient as a disposer of affairs. Surah Al-Ahzab 33:3. And He asks, is Allah not sufficient for His servant? Surah Az-Zumar 39:36. Think about that. Is the one who knows every hidden conversation, every private chat, every intention behind every word, not enough to handle your case? Look at the story of Maryam alayhi salam. She came back to her people carrying baby Isa. They accused her, they judged her, they said terrible things. At that moment, what did Allah order her to do? To hold a press conference? To argue with every tongue? No. She was commanded not to speak, to point to the child instead. She stayed silent for Allah, and Allah made a baby in the cradle speak to defend her honor. Subhanallah. Who could have done that except Allah? You may not see miracles like that in obvious form, but the principle is the same. When you choose dignified silence, when you avoid haram speech. Sure, when you refuse to throw yourself into dirty arguments for Allah's sake, He takes your case. Maybe He will turn people's hearts in your favor. Maybe He will make the truth come out at the right time. Maybe He will raise your status with Him while your enemies sink in their sins. Maybe He will hide your faults as you chose to hide theirs. Some people win the argument in front of people and lose in front of Allah. Others seem to lose the argument here, but Allah writes them among the patient, the wise, the dignified. My dear brothers and sisters, you do not have to answer every tongue. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can do is look up and say, Hasbi Allahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me and He is the best disposer of affairs. Then leave space for Allah to do what He does best. Protect, defend, and honor His servant. My beloved brothers and sisters, beyond honor and defense, there is another huge wisdom in staying silent. It saves you from sin and regret. The tongue is small, but its crimes are enormous. The Prophet told us that one of the main reasons people are dragged on their faces into the fire is because of what their tongues harvested. Not their hands, not their feet, their tongues. With just a few words, we can backbite and tear someone's honor apart. Spread a rumor that destroys a family or a marriage. Lie to escape blame. Mock and humiliate someone Allah has honored. And often it all begins in a moment of anger. One harsh reply in a family group. One sarcastic joke in front of others. One humiliating voice note you send when your heart is burning. Later, when you calm down, you wish you could pull those words back, but they've already entered hearts, screenshots, and your book of deeds. Silence in those moments is not emptiness, it is protection. Imagine you are already going through a test. Someone hurt you, lied about you, provoked you. That test is writing something in your record. Now you have two choices. React with your tongue, say something haram. Now you carry their injustice plus your own sin. Stay silent for Allah, guard your tongue. Now their injustice becomes your reward, your sins are not increased, and your rank with Allah is raised. Why would you pay for someone else's sin with your own tongue? One moment of silence can save you from years of broken relationships, long nights of guilt, pages of sins written because of one argument. My dear brothers and sisters, when the anger rises and your fingers run to the keyboard, remember, every extra word is either for you or against you. If you cannot say something that brings you closer to Jannah, then let silence be your shield. You may feel like you lost by not replying, but in reality, you won a battle your ego doesn't see. You protected your hereafter. My beloved brothers and sisters, there is another gift that comes when you stop answering everyone and start handing matters to Allah, inner peace. When you are focused on what people say and think, your heart is never at rest. Person A spends the whole day checking who viewed their status, rereading messages to see what they meant, watching if someone has unfollowed, left them on seen, or posted something indirect about them. Their mind is a battlefield of assumptions, overthinking, and imagined conversations. Even when they are in salah, their head is full of replies they wish they had given. They are alive, but not calm. Person B also gets hurt, also gets misunderstood, also faces unfair treatment. But they do something different. They clarify where it is necessary and beneficial. After that they say, Ya Allah, you know the truth, I leave the rest to you. They close the chat, put the phone down, make wudu and pray 2 rak'at. They complain to Allah in sujood instead of repeating the story to 10 different people. They still feel pain, but their pain is pee. Recessed in front of Allah, not endlessly recycled in front of people. And slowly their heart becomes lighter. Allah says, and whoever relies upon Allah, then He is sufficient for him. Surah At-Talaq 65:3. Tawakkul, true reliance on Allah, is not just a theory. It is a feeling that allows you to sleep at night knowing Allah saw what they said. Allah knows what I did. If I am truthful, He will not abandon me. You still take the halal means, you still make wise choices, but you don't obsess anymore. You stop trying to control every heart and every opinion, and you entrust them to the one who already controls them. My dear brothers and sisters, you can spend your nights crafting the perfect reply, or you can spend a few minutes raising your hands and saying, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs. The first path keeps your heart in pieces. The second path gathers those pieces and places them gently in Allah's hands. My beloved brothers and sisters, when someone hurts us or life becomes heavy, the most natural reaction is to complain. And usually we complain to people. We call a friend and pour our heart out. We send long voice notes. We post indirect statuses and stories. We repeat the same story again and again, hoping that somehow, by telling more people, our pain will become lighter. Sometimes speaking to a trusted person is helpful and allowed for advice, for counseling, for help. Islam does not tell you to lock everything inside until you break. But there is a higher, more powerful place where your deepest complaints should go first. Allah tells us the words of Prophet Yaqub alayhi salam when he was heartbroken over the loss of his son. I only complain of my suffering and my grief to Allah. Surah Yusuf 12:86. Subhanallah, he didn't say, I don't suffer. He didn't say, I feel. That is the difference. When you complain to people, they may listen or get tired. They may advise or judge. They may keep your secret or spread it further. But when you complain to Allah, He never gets tired of hearing you. He never misunderstands you. He never exposes you out of cruelty. Changing your focus means this. Instead of writing a 20-line rant to someone who can't fix your heart, write a 20-line dua to the one who owns your heart. Instead of posting something vague and hurt online, sit in sujood and say, Ya Allah, you know what they did. You know how I feel. Help me, guide me, heal me. You are allowed to seek help from people, but your main outlet, your rawest tears, your unfiltered complaints, give those to Allah first. Every complaint you move from people to Allah turns your pain into worship, your tears into reward, and your trial into a bridge that brings you closer to Him. My beloved brothers and sisters, it's easy to say focus on Allah and stay silent. But in the heat of the moment, it can feel almost impossible. Your phone buzzes, you read the message, your heart jumps, your face gets hot, your fingers rush to type. What can you actually do right there and then to stop yourself from reacting in a way you'll regret? Let's walk through some practical steps you can use the next time you feel provoked. 1. Pause for 3 seconds before you reply. As soon as you feel that rush of anger or hurt, don't answer immediately. Take a slow breath and say in your heart, Allahu Yara. Allah is watching. Those 3 seconds are your shield. Many disasters are avoided in 3 seconds. Ask one simple question. Before you type, before you speak, ask yourself, what response right now would please Allah? Not, what will make me look right? Not, what will hurt them back? But, what will please my Rabb? If the answer is silence, then silence is your right. Then remember who controls the outcome. Whisper to yourself Allah's names. Al-Alim. He knows the truth even if they lie. Al-Raqib. He is watching everything. Al-Hakim. He is wise in what He allows to happen. Say softly, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. Allah is sufficient for me, and He is the best disposer of affairs. This shifts your focus from, I must fix this myself, to Allah is already in control. Use dhikr as your anchor, not your words. When your tongue wants to say something sharp, busy it with dhikr instead. Subhanallah. When you feel shocked, Astaghfirullah. When you feel your ego rising, Allahu Akbar. To remind yourself Allah is greater than this entire situation. You cannot fill your tongue with remembering Allah and sin with it at the same time. Visualize your book of deeds. Imagine this reply, this voice note, this comment being written forever in your record and presented to you on the day of judgment. Ask yourself, will I be happy to see these exact words in front of Allah? If the answer is no, then don't send them. Delay, don't deny. If you still feel you must answer, make a rule for yourself. I will not reply while I am at the peak of anger. I will wait an hour or until after one salah. You will be amazed how different your reply looks when your heart is calmer and your focus has returned to Allah. My dear brothers and sisters, this is a training. It won't be perfect from day one, but every time you pause, remember Allah and choose a better response or blessed silence, you are rewriting your habits and polishing your heart. Each small victory of the tongue is a big victory for your akhirah. My beloved brothers and sisters, you might say, I understand the virtue of silence, but if I don't say anything, I will explode inside. This is a very real feeling. Islam does not ask you to become a rock with no emotions. It teaches as you where to send those emotions. There is a big difference between suppressing your feelings and redirecting them. Suppressing is I'm hurt, but I'll pretend I'm fine. And the pain rots inside you, turns into bitterness, anxiety, even hatred. Redirecting is I'm hurt, but instead of throwing my anger at people, I will pour it out in front of Allah. Here are some practical ways to stay silent without breaking inside. 1. Leave the battlefield physically. When you feel you're about to say something haram, step out of the room, put the phone down, go to another space, the kitchen, your room, outside for fresh air. Changing place breaks the intensity of the moment. Make wudu and change your state. The Prophet taught us to sit if we're angry while standing, and to lie down if we're angry while sitting. Add to that, make wudu. Let the water cool your anger. Take a slow breath and say, Allahumma igfirli, Allahumma salli ala nabiyyina Muhammad. You're not ignoring the pain, you're calming the fire before it burns everything. Speak, but to Allah first. If your heart is full, don't just keep it in. Stand in 2 rak'at. In sujood, say exactly what you wanted to text them, but say it to Allah. Cry if you can. If you can't, let your heart tremble and say, Ya Rabb, you know what they did, you know how I feel. Help me. This way, your silence with people becomes conversation with your Lord. Write it, don't send it. If the words are pushing to come out, open a note on your phone or a piece of paper. Write everything you want to say, then close it. Don't send. Later, when calm, delete it. You released the pressure without causing damage. Share with one trusted person with adab. Sometimes you do need to talk. Choose someone, God-fearing, wise, not a gossip. Make niyyah. I am seeking help and advice, not I am just venting and backbiting. Remember, your emotions are not haram, but how you express them decides whether they become sins or steps that lead you closer to Allah. My beloved brothers and sisters, at this point we must be very clear about something important. Islam does not tell you to be silent in the face of oppression. Focusing on Allah and staying silent is about controlling your ego, not ignoring injustice. There are times when silence is a virtue, and times when silence becomes a sin. If someone is abusing you physically or emotionally, your rights or your children's rights are being taken, a person's lies are causing serious harm to your deen, your safety, your honor, you witness injustice at work, in family, in community, then Islam does not say, keep quiet and let it continue. The Prophet said, whoever among you sees an evil, let him change it with his hand. If he is not able, then with his tongue. And if he is not able, then with his heart. And that is the weakest of faith, Muslim. And he told us that one of the greatest jihad is a word of truth spoken in front of a tyrant ruler. So sometimes focusing on Allah means you must speak. You must report abuse. You must say no to haram. You must clarify the truth when someone's life, honor, or deen is being damaged. You must seek help from authorities, scholars, trusted elders. The difference is this: ego speech. I want to win. I want to crush them. I want to humiliate them. Allah-focused speech. I want to stop harm, uphold justice, and please Allah. Before you speak, ask, am I opening my mouth for my nafs or for Allah's sake? If it is for your nafs, then silence is safer. If it is for Allah with wisdom, adab, and correct means, then speaking may be your duty. So remember, my dear brothers and sisters, stay silent in petty fights, personal ego battles, and useless arguments. Speak up with courage and wisdom when silence would allow zulm, oppression, to continue.
Both silence and speech can be acts of worship when they are chosen for Allah, not for the ego. My beloved brothers and sisters, think back to how you started. Always explaining, always defending, always replaying arguments in your mind. So much energy spent trying to fix how people see you, and so little peace left inside you. Now imagine a different version of you. Someone throws a cheap comment your way. Your heart feels it, but your first thought is, Allah heard that, Allah saw that, I don't need to drop to this level. You type a reply, then you delete it. You lift your eyes and say instead, Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil. You're not running away. You're not weak. You are simply choosing a higher court. You still speak when you must, with calm, with adab, with justice in mind. But you no longer attend every argument you're invited to. You no longer hand your peace to every tongue that wants to play with it. You speak less, but when you do speak, your words carry weight. You complain less to people and more in sujood to Allah. You react less with anger and more with dua and dhikr. This is quiet dignity, not given by likes, not taken by insults, a dignity that comes from knowing my honor is with Allah, my story is known to Allah, my reward is stored by Allah. From today, choose just one situation where you will focus on Allah and stay silent for His sake. Watch what happens inside your heart when you walk away from the noise and walk closer to your Rabb. My beloved brothers and sisters, before we end, let's remind our hearts of what we've learned. Constantly explaining yourself, defending yourself, and arguing with everyone steals your peace and rarely changes hearts. The Qur'an and Sunnah teach us to guard our tongues. Whoever believes in Allah and the last day, let him say what is good or remain silent. Focusing on Allah means asking in every situation.
Ayon, what response now will please Allah, not just my ego? When you stay silent for Allah, not out of fear but out of trust, Allah Himself becomes your defender. He is sufficient as your wakil. Silence saves you from backbiting, insults, lies, and words you will regret on the day of judgment. By leaving matters to Allah, your heart finds inner peace. You stop chasing every opinion and rely on the one who already knows the full truth. Moving your complaints from people to Allah turns your pain into worship. You learned practical steps, pausing, remembering Allah's names, delaying replies, using dhikr, writing but not sending, and speaking only when it is for Allah's sake, especially against real injustice. None of this is easy. But every time you hold back a word for Allah, He sees it, He records it, and He will never waste it. Let us end with dua. Ya Allah, purify our tongues and our hearts. Ya Rabb, make us of those who say what is good or remain silent. Defend our honor when we stay silent for Your sake. Protect us from words that anger You and from arguments that steal our iman. Grant us wisdom to know when to speak and when to be quiet. Let our complaints reach You before they reach Your creation, and replace our inner turmoil with sakina and contentment. Ameen Ya Rabb al-Alameen. If you know someone tired of fighting with the world, share this reminder with them. Perhaps Allah will make it a reason for their peace and yours.